Hi, internet people. So I just got to watching the most recent episode of Riverdale, and okay, one, pretty sure Jughead is living at the school, which is not okay because I need Jughead to have a stable home. Just someone get Jughead a house, or let him live in their house. I don't know, Archie should have room. Shouldn't his dad feel bad about the whole firing thing and let Jughead move in? Shouldn't that be a thing? It should be a thing. Okay, but Betty invites him over for breakfast. He has breakfast. She uses Jughead's appearance to distract her mother so she can figure out where Polly is by checking her checkbook. And then Jughead and Betty go on this, their whole plot is connected to finding Polly and figuring out what's going on with her. So that's happening. Veronica is having her own sort of intense plot, because she finds out that Archie's dad, Fred, and her mom are, into each other. She sees them making out at Andrew's construction, and when she confronts her mom about it, her mom's like, no, this was the only time that's happened. But it very much seems like the two of them are going to be a couple, and Veronica's not okay with it because her mom is still married to her dad. But Archie's cool with it because his dad and his mom are separated. I'm guessing we're never going to see the former Mrs. Andrews, but who knows. So Veronica is upset with her mother, and then things get very complicated for the Lodges. Because, okay, Archie is dealing with music issues because he's afraid to perform at the talent show, but he gets to perform at the talent show anyway because Veronica calls in a favor with Kevin. Yeah, Kevin's the MC and talent negotiator. He wants Valerie to sing with him, but Valerie says that she needs to perform with the Pussycats. Then Josie is super on edge, and so the Pussycats sort of break up. Valerie leaves because she's gonna sing with Archie, but Veronica had told Archie she would sing with him because he didn't want to sing alone, and then when she finds that Valerie is going to do it, she gets mad and winds up becoming a Pussycat. So she's a Pussycat for this episode, but I don't think she's staying a Pussycat for the season. But Archie and Valerie are definitely together now because they make out in the hallway. I jump around in these, I'm sorry. But Archie's plot is really just about his music, and he accidentally breaks up the Pussycats, but then when he finds out that Josie's dad is this big... Yeah, the Andrews and Hermione Lodge wind up having dinner at Josie and her parents' house, because Fred wants to convince the mayor to let him get the contract for that big construction project that we know that secretly the Lodges are involved in. He doesn't know that, but Hermione does, and she doesn't tell him. So he does this dinner, and the mayor's like, I'm sorry, but it's already being offered to someone else. After the dinner, he already gives the whole presentation before she says anything. And at this dinner, we learn that Josie's dad is, super, negative about her music. He thinks Valerie's really, really talented, but never really talks about Josie being talented. And her mom tells her, you need to just replace her, everyone is replaceable. Find someone who's pretty but not as pretty as you, a woman of color, preferably because of your image, the image of the band. And I was like, okay, that's fine, understandable, but the whole discussion isn't oh my gosh, your friend just left you, or you and your friend had a fight. It's just make sure it's perfect because your dad is coming, and if he doesn't like it, then he's gonna blame me for it being bad. And I was like, oh my god, what is wrong with you people? So after the dinner, we see Hermione, offer, she's like, Veronica, will you sign this? I'm gonna offer Archie's dad the contract, which is totally, insidery, sneaky. So she's not telling him that she's the person handling the construction thing, but she wants Veronica to sign it, and she literally, Veronica says no, but it looks like she's gonna, talk to her mom about it later. And then her mom forges her signature, and she finds out that Archie's dad is getting the contract, which means her mom would have had to have forged her signature. Yeah, it's all kinds of crazy. But Josie and Veronica sort of bond over, family issues, because Josie is very irritated at her father and her mother for the amount of pressure that's, on her all the time, and Veronica is upset because her dad is in prison and her mom is cheating on him. Which is understandable. So while all of this, relationship family drama is happening, Betty and Jughead are involved in their own family drama because they figure out where Polly is. They go to find her. It's a super religious, secluded place for troubled youths. Yeah, they find her and she's pregnant with Jason's baby, and no one told her that he was dead. Yeah, so Betty, like, tries to tell her, and she figures it out, and she's, like, a mess. Then their mom shows up, Mrs. Cooper shows up, and is like, you didn't think that with all the money I'm paying them, they wouldn't tell me that your sister had a visitor? And I'm like, okay. But, like, Polly wants to leave. Polly, like, she wants to go, but no, they're not gonna let her leave. Betty, like, says she's gonna help her get out. Yes. Jughead is there the whole time. There's stuff coming about Jughead and Betty. Just hold on. So he's there. He sees this, like, whole scene break out where, like, people restrain Polly. Polly explains that, like, she didn't know what was happening. She was sneaking off to meet Jason on the 4th of July, which means he was going to meet her. And then she, like, starts rattling off their plan to to Betty, because Polly's like, no, we were meeting here and doing this and da-da-da-da-da-da. And so, Betty winds up going home with her parents. Jughead is somewhere. And she actually asks her dad if he killed Jason, and then her mom starts laughing and saying she wishes he had killed Jason, and then, like, she wishes she killed Jason. Super creepy. Literally, a teenager is dead, and the family is just like, we wish we had killed him for the family name, which is crazy. Like, the Coopers are nuts. And so Betty's like, oh my god. Like, Betty thinks she might be crazy because everyone is crazy, in her family, apparently, because they're saying Polly is crazy, but Polly's not crazy. Like, she was gonna get married. Like, there was a whole thing happening, and they locked her up. So yeah, but while she's, like, hanging out in her room, yes, okay, I've jumped around a lot because this does not happen at the end of the episode. So Jughead comes in, and Jughead is talking to her, and Jughead totally kisses Betty, which I shouldn't have been surprised about, because they had said in interviews that Jughead was going to do, like, he's going to be a sexual teenager and kiss people. I don't know if they actually said kiss people, but he kisses her, and then right after they kiss, she's like, car, and he's like, what? Like, during our moment, that's what you're thinking of? What? And so they, like, rush out to where Polly was talking about and find a car full of drugs and Jason's stuff, which means there was a car waiting to take him and Polly away forever. And then they have to go get the cops, and so Betty wasn't even at the talent show. They, like, run in and they hear Archie's song, because Archie, of course, does amazingly, even though he has to sing by himself, and they find the sheriff, who's Kevin's dad, who was there, and then they rush out, but the car is on fire. So there was, like, we saw someone was, like, watching the car, but yeah, no, the car is on fire. And interestingly enough, Cheryl Blossom was not in this episode at all. Not a hide, nor hair, nor spider brooch to be seen of Cheryl Blossom. So they did start developing a Josie and the Pussycats character, so we've seen more of Josie's home life and, like, what's going on with Josie. We also learned more about how the group got together, even though the plot for this one was, like, they're breaking up because of Archie. Like, it was literally focused on Archie, because Valerie was, like, irritated at Josie and brought up Archie, and then yeah. So Archie technically broke them up, and then Josie said he, like, yokoed them, and then that's what set him to, like, fix it. Yeah. There was a lot of background stuff. It was a lot more relationship focused. Even though I know we've discussed relationships in other episodes, this, like, hit the Polly-Jason relationship, Val and Archie's relationship, Hermione and Fred's relationship, we got a Betty and Jughead relationship that's happening. Was that it? That might be it. And then, like, parent to child relationships. The only thing that was one of the things that was super weird was Archie had this, like, random werewolf mask that was creeping him out, and then, like, in his nightmare there was a werewolf mask, and I don't understand why there was a werewolf mask. I don't. So yeah, a lot was happening. I'm still not feeling the Jughead kiss. Like, I know people have been, I wanted him to be asexual, aromantic. Just, even if they didn't canonically say it, like, just don't have him have a relationship. And in theory, okay, even though he kissed Betty, he could still be asexual, because even if you are an asexual person, it doesn't mean that you don't have, like, feelings for people. Like, you can be in a relationship, you're just not personally, well, I'm not asexual, so I can't speak for the community myself, but from what I've researched, asexual people are in relationships. They have relationships. They're just not as interested in sexual relationships. But depending on their partner and the communication they have with them, they could decide to have sex. There's a character in sex criminals who is asexual, who you see having sex but not really understanding why people are like interested in having sex. So in theory, Jughead kissing Betty could have been a knee-jerk, like, this is what should happen now kind of thing. So they could, in the second season, because we have heard that Riverdale was renewed, sort of make that kiss a moment where Jughead was like, eh. Because, I mean, they kiss, it stops, they go about their business. So in theory, the writers could use that as a movement where Jughead is like, I wasn't really into it. It's possible. I don't know. So I'm not giving up hope that he could become an asexual character, or that he won't be in an actual relationship, just because it is possible that that one kiss doesn't actually mean anything. But it is a little frustrating that they did have Jughead decide to kiss Betty, because he and Betty are honestly just hanging out. Like, he knows she has feelings for Archie, even though they're not really, like, intense right now. She still has feelings for him, and it just seems weird that as his best friend, his immediate response would be to kiss her because they've been spending some time together. There was a cool thing. Jughead did call them the Scooby Gang, which made me smile. So it was an interesting episode overall. There was a lot of emotional stuff happening. I appreciated the Josie and the Pussycats catsuits. Those were very fun. But yeah, I was not a huge fan of the Jughead kiss at all. Also, Archie has a Batman #5 Rebirth comic poster in his bedroom. Like, a massive one. Like, the kind you would see at a comic book store. And I'm like, Rebirth issue 5? I don't know the significance of that. I should. That is one of the Batman comics I am not reading. But it was just so random. It was behind his mirror. Anyway, that is it for this reactions video. I will have another one next week. Probably closer, well, I don't know for certain. I'm a little behind video-wise because I was gone for the weekend. But there you go. Let me know what you thought of Riverdale in the comments below, or on Twitter at CleffNotes. Find me on my blog, cleffnotes.wordpress.com, or for the Nerdy Girl Express, thenerdygirlexpress.com, or on their Snapchat, the Nerdy Girl EXP, and I post recipes on the iZombie Support Group site, iZombieSupportGroup.com. Bye, Internet people.